Hola, y'all. Welcome to Glass Table Talks. I am Helena, but you can call me Lena, and I am your HHIC, and that is your head hostess in charge. And today on Glass Table Talks, we are talking about pop-ups because the weather is absolutely gorgeous outside, and we're getting that itch as small business owners to get outside and to get our wares in front of everybody, right? So COVID slapped everybody into the house, and now we've all got COVID fatigue as if it doesn't even exist anymore, and we are just out there. But we're also a little, I don't know, a little hesitant because, especially me, don't quite know how to vet these pop-up events and see if they're legitimate and see if it's something that we really want to participate in and fits our business. So that is what we're talking about today on Glass Table Talks. And our small business owner that's going to be joining us is Miss Veronica Montgomery. And Miss Veronica is over in Columbus, Ohio, and she actually has two businesses. She does Paparazzi Jewelry and Mary Kay. And I have seen Miss Ronnie all over her Instagram and her Facebook, popping up at these different events. She is everywhere. So I knew she would be a perfect guest for this topic, y'all. So again, we're talking about pop-ups, y'all.
Hello,
Hey,
hello,
girl, how
hello.
are you? And welcome to Glass Table Talks. And look, a topic that is near and dear to your heart, girl.
Yes, love them, love them,
Pop-ups.
love them.
Yes, y'all, this is Miss Veronica Montgomery. I will call her the pop-up queen because she's been doing pop-ups now for the past 4 to 6 years pre-COVID, and she can give y'all some pointers, some game, some advice, stuff to look out for. Right, Ronnie? Because you've been doing this for a minute. So go ahead and
Absolutely.
introduce yourself to us, y'all. She's got a few businesses that she got started with, and I'm always seeing her all over social media with her events going live. So, Ronnie, go ahead and tell us a little bit about you and your businesses and what got you started with actually doing live events.
Okay, so she said, my name is Veronica Montgomery. I'm a wife and a mother of two um, teenagers. I got a daughter, 17, and a son, 19. So they're at the age where they're pretty much self-sufficient and
Right.
doing their own thing. So, um, but even when they were younger, I just geared it towards the weekends, maybe like once a month at the time.
As far
And
as doing events.
doing events, yes, because
Mm-hmm.
there was other things with the kids.
Right, of course, of
So,
course. But now
but
that they're older
yeah,
and
now
they're
they're
kind of doing
older,
their own thing,
and my
moms have time,
husband, he
right?
works weekends. I have more time
Right.
to do the events, but I try to keep at least one weekend open, so I can just do whatever I want to do on that week.
Wow. So that means, y'all, she's doing almost 3 events a month. That's
Yeah,
that's
two
big.
to three
That's
events a
big.
month. Yes.
So tell everybody what your businesses are. What actual businesses do you have that you put out there for your events or for the
So the two events that I do mainly for pop-ups is Mary Kay Cosmetics,
Okay.
and which most people are familiar with. They've been around for like
Right.
57 years.
Right.
And I also have a business, a jewelry business,
Mm-hmm.
it's Paparazzi
Yeah. All
Accessories.
the blings. Yeah.
So, yes, with the bling, um, they're known for $5 jewelry, but
Right.
they also have a
Oop.
luxury or upscale line called the Z Collection, and that those items start at $25. Um, so yes, those are mainly, I have a couple other businesses. I also have a lash business that I will be um, doing displaying in a pop-up shop coming up next month with Tori Bell.
Hey,
But
so that's three, y'all.
three, yes.
So
So
your first pop-up shop was with what business?
so my first pop-up shop was with Mary Kay
Okay.
Cosmetics.
Okay.
Mhm.
And how long ago was that?
That was about 4 years ago.
Wow. Okay. So you've been
Yes.
doing this that's why I called you Pop-Up Queen, because you've been
Yes.
doing this for a while now.
I've been doing this for a while. Yes.
So when you go and you say, okay, I've got a weekend open, and I want to do an event. What is the first thing that you do to start the ball rolling?
Okay. So I look at my calendar and decide, what dates that I want to have to participate. And then I go and look in the different Facebook groups. So I belong to several Facebook groups, some business networking groups for ladies. Like the first groups that I first heard of the vending events was through Facebook groups. And that those two were Sis with Your Business, Sisters in Business. And most recently, within the last 2 years, was a vendor game that came about. And then in Columbus, Ohio, we have I would say, last year, I believe they started a group called Columbus Black Owned Businesses.
Okay.
And
So, y'all, what she's telling you is the first step is she's going and she's joining these business focused
groups,
Facebook
yes.
groups, right? That
Yes.
because you want to hobnob with like-minded people.
Like-minded people, yes.
Right.
So
Okay.
that's important. You want to
Right.
network with like-minded people.
Right.
Also join like craft groups too, because
Okay.
they advertise as well, looking for vendors for
Vendors.
like county fairs and uh,
Correct. Mm-hmm.
things like that, little
Right.
markets and
Right. So
things
you're
like
looking
that.
for stuff though generally, because like I say, my Facebook group, my vendor center for What's Poppin' USA is national. And so, a lot of my events are like regional, like tri-state area or New
Hmm.
England, Southeast regional.
Yes.
But if you're in a different location, you really want to focus on the stuff that's in your area. So you're in
Right.
a lot of groups that are specifically for your area, right,
My
Ronnie?
area, yeah. And so you could focus. I mean, if travel is not your thing, then you can
Right,
just
right.
focus like in
Or if
your
you don't have
local.
it like that to up and go, you know what I
Right.
mean? Or
Yeah.
you can't
So
do
you
it
can
that,
do
yeah,
your own area. But
right,
I've been wanting, so lately I've been thinking that I do want to kind of branch out
right.
and do some other events and
Being out of your area.
out of my area in
Okay.
other cities and possibly another state. So
Right. So,
just
in you saying that though, so that means that's bringing you out of your comfort zone. Okay. So
yes,
that's bringing you out of your area where you're used to with the people
right,
you're used to.
yes,
So this is for the small business owners that want to get into events and want to get into, doing these vendor events and pop-up shops. Put your ears on. So, Veronica, when you are scoping out a new event, a new event organizer, you're not familiar with this event, it hasn't been put on before, or you don't know about it, or you don't know the event organizer or how do you with your, pop-up queen wisdom, how do you like decipher what's bullshit and like what's like legitimate? Like, how do you do that? Because we are all on Facebook, and
Right.
we do know.
And a lot of us, and you're just starting out and you have a business for
Mhm.
a few years and you want to get your stuff out there. So
And
you're
you're scared
hungry.
of getting scammed,
Yeah, but
right?
a lot of people are hungry, they want to make money.
Right.
And so, but then some people have that apprehension about getting scammed. I would recommend, doing research on the company, the person, because some people, are quote unquote vendor coordinators. And
Right. And that's all they do.
yes. And
Right.
so you want to look at their social media profile, because a lot of vendor coordinators do have their own business as
Right.
well.
Right. And research that, right?
Yes.
If we could be nosy, looking at everything else on everybody else's Instagram and TikTok, be nosy for your own business's sake and dig into them people's profiles and make sure they're legitimate,
Right. Yeah,
that they actually
absolutely.
have a presence, and that they can
Yes.
be reached. Because have
Yes.
you ever tried to reach somebody after you sent somebody some money? You ain't
Right.
not gonna
Yeah.
get,
Do they have a
you're not gonna get an
do they have contact information? And a lot of things I found out, plus you want to make sure that you have business cards when you go to these, when you are
when
vending
you're
at
at
these
the
events.
actual event, correct. But when we're
Yes.
vetting and trying to figure out what event is good, so we're researching the business,
Yeah, you
whoever's
want to
putting it
research.
on,
Yeah, their
whoever's
social
putting it on.
media profiles, Instagram pages, their, Facebook page.
Right.
Are they registered in the state? Do they have an LLC?
That's a good
Yeah.
one.
So if
That's
they
a
are
good
registered,
one.
then you can Google and look them up.
That's a good one. I didn't think about that. That's nice. I like that
Absolutely.
one.
Then
Um,
how do they accept payment?
oh, that's, thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
So
because a
let's
lot of
touch
people take
on,
Cash App and Venmo. And so we are in the electronic payment
age,
age.
right? The
And so,
Jetsons.
because we're not just dealing with people in our town. We want to spread our wings. So we're dealing with people who live in other states and sometimes dealing with people that we don't know and in other states can be tricky. And for example, like PayPal and Cash App, you want to make sure when you send in that person that maybe their name is kind of included in their business profile. If they say, send the Cash App to so and so, that might be a red flag. Why am I not sending it directly to you? And then also with friends and family, with PayPal has what they call friends and family. And I could see that, if PayPal is a means to pay someone, if you need to pay someone back, you can exchange money like PayPal or Zelle or whatever. But friends and family should be reserved for your actual friends and family. People you do not know, strangers, should not tell you to send money via friends and family because they're not your friends or your family.
They're trying to
And
run.
also, if you're sending payment and they have a whole different name on their email address, that's kind of a red flag too. So, Molly, but
Right,
email address says Rose Lida.
right,
Like,
right, right. Or it's Bernard. You know what I mean?
right,
Like, this doesn't match.
Chris, and her name is Karen, like something ain't right. So you gotta go with
That's
your
exactly right. So we call that our women's intuition,
tuition.
or you
Yes.
call it your spidey sense. And as I've said,
Spidey
people
sense,
have heard
first
me say,
instinct. If
right,
it
and
doesn't feel right, then
then it's
nine
not
times out
right.
of 10, it ain't
As
right.
I always say, as women, you know what I mean? If we got that gut feeling, she might hang over our pants a little bit, but that bitch is never, ever, ever wrong. You know what
That's
I'm
right.
saying? She
That's
always
right.
know that something is amuck, girl. Always knows that something is amuck. Okay, so when we're looking at events, we're doing stuff that's in our area,
Yes, you do
right?
stuff in your
You're
area. Of course,
you're less
you can do stuff
likely,
that's, maybe the next city over, but you want to make
right?
sure that you get the address of where you're going, know where you're going. You want to
Yes,
make sure that you got to have the vendor coordinator's information.
yes,
You know,
ma'am. Thank you.
their
Thank you.
name and their number should be available for you to
To
contact
you.
them
Yes,
if
ma'am.
you have questions. You should be able to call or text them. You should be able to message them. If they're not responding to your communication,
Then
then you may not want to do business with
that's that red flag that's flying all around, right? That's that red flag.
them. Absolutely,
Yes, ma'am.
absolutely.
And
I
I
mean, they
would
have to
even
be reachable. If they're setting something up, have to be reachable. If
correct,
it's not them, then they need to have an
correct,
assistant that may also be fielding, their
correct.
calls. Because
If they're
you
big
have
enough, if they're big
they,
enough, correctly.
yeah,
Correct,
that you'll have a vendor coordinator, and sometimes they will have an assistant as well. That's
correct,
what I found.
correct.
And then you also want to look at the cost, because depending on the venue, if it's at a hotel or a really nice establishment, then your cost for signing up is going to be a little more. So,
Right.
you want to think
So
about, is
think
it in
about
your budget?
the
You
venue,
know,
right? The venue. So if
right,
you're
venues.
at a park outside and somebody's charging you $300 for a vendor booth,
Then you say, no, that's
you
too
know what I'm
much.
saying? And you're not at the Waldorf Astoria for
I mean,
$300
even $100 for a park
is
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 expensive.
a lot.
Yes.
Is a lot,
So
correct.
yeah, you got to look at this.
Especially if it's not something that is known, that is an annual event that draws the crowd. Then most definitely. One last thing that I think we should touch upon with the events also is I would even go so far as have you seen the flyers that a lot of these event organizers put up? They'll put up their flyer organizing it, and then they'll put the logos of
Yes, they put
all
the
the different.
logos of everyone that's
So
participating. Some of them make
what
videos.
what I might even do to see if it's legitimate is check out some of these businesses that are on this flyer
Yeah.
and see if they even know that they're on this flyer and see if they're participating and if they've participated before. And it's like network. You know how you get referrals?
Yes.
We
Well,
get
they should be
referrals.
asking, when you sign up, the coordinator should ask for your logo. I've
Yeah,
had,
but you know what though? I will say, but again, you have a lot of these scamming little
yeah,
folks out here. So that's why I'm saying if you just see a flyer in a group and you're like, oh, that pop-up shop looks kind of cool. Look at the vendors that are also on that flyer is what I'm saying. And maybe
yeah,
reach out to them. Hey,
yes.
how did you find out about this pop-up shop? I'm interested in doing it. How did you find out about it?
Yeah,
You know
and
what I
have
mean?
you
And just kind of
participated in any of their events in the past?
that's what I'm saying.
How did it
Research,
go? Did you like
network.
it? Did you enjoy it?
Yes,
Another
ma'am.
thing I want to touch on
Yes.
is, you want to make sure when you have your table that you have a tablecloth on your
Oh,
table
so now we're talking. So when you're actually at your event,
at
yes,
your event. Oh,
at
wait
your
a minute.
event.
Let me rewind, because
Okay.
you touched on the flyers, and that's good.
Yes.
It's great to have a flyer, and if they don't have, because usually the vendor coordinator will provide everyone a flyer.
Hopefully, correct. Correct.
Yes. And so you want to make sure that you are sharing that flyer with your network.
Thank
You're
you.
posting
Thank
on,
you.
social media at least twice a day before the event.
That
You're
helps.
posting in your
That
groups,
helps.
like if you have a group, you're letting your friends eat,
Your
because you
and
might have
network.
friends that are not on Facebook, that on, because some
Correct.
people don't are not. But if you have their phone number, you can text them the flyer, even call
Right,
people,
right. So
word
that's
of mouth
drumming
is
up.
good.
That's how to drum up business, or try
Yes,
how to, right. So as someone who puts on events, I do always create flyers and ads and videos,
absolutely,
and
and those are
I
great.
I always tell my participants to please share this with their network, because you
Yes,
never know, and you want to cross modulate my network with your network, with her network, with his network, and everybody's reach together is exponential, aside from me just doing it myself.
right.
You know what I mean? So everybody wants to
I mean,
spider
and so
web.
that, right, and that's a way to get traffic
Traffic
to
for your event. Yeah,
the events, and make it more successful.
correct.
Because
So
I have been in events that were not that successful, not that
right,
many people.
traffic
And
wise,
one of the reasons why, because they were not promoting it. It
promoting it.
wasn't selling.
Right.
They maybe relied on the vendor coordinator to
Solely. Correct.
solely to do all the promoting. But it
Correct.
also, at the same time, when we was at the height of the pandemic, it was a little challenging because
Right.
people did not want to
But
get
these are
out.
things that you're going to come up with pop-up shops.
Yes.
Not everybody, just because a pop-up shop is happening, doesn't mean it's going to get droves and droves of traffic.
Yeah, it all depends.
I mean,
And
I'm just saying,
so,
just because one is doesn't mean they're going to come. You know what I mean? So
right,
it takes some
right.
work. It
It
takes some
takes,
work.
like I said, it takes
Yes,
promotion
it does.
on the back end
Cross
before.
promotion
And
from
then another thing, you
everybody.
want to make sure that you ordering your items, or
You
that you
have
have
enough
inventory
inventory.
available to sell. Because when people,
Don't have a bare table.
yes, you want to have stuff available because they want to see. People don't want to, a lot of people don't want to wait,
And to order
because you can say, I got a website, I can
I
order it.
can order it. No, they want something right then that they
They
can
want it
order
right
quick.
now. They want it today, you know,
Right, right.
because you give them a business. And another thing, what I've learned in the past,
Mhm.
I've passed out business cards and hundreds, but
Right,
then, the sales aren't there because
right.
you're not getting the information. So you
Mhm.
have to make sure you
These are
can,
golden nuggets from this pop-up queen, all this stuff that she's telling you. So we talked about how to get into a pop-up shop, what to look
yes,
at with the pop-up shop. But now when you're in the pop-up shop,
yes,
these are the things that you want to actually do. You
yes, you,
gotta
you
have
gotta stand, you gotta make
inventory.
sure that you are standing next to your table or at your table and greeting the people as they walk by.
Yes,
Sometimes
ma'am.
you even have to draw, you have to say, hey, come
Come
shop
on
my
over.
table. I
Come
got
on.
some jewelry. I got something that will
You know
make
what they
you
say?
feel beautiful.
A closed mouth don't get
Do
fed.
not get fed.
So
I do
you
not
gotta
recommend sitting the whole time
no.
and
You
on
got
your
to be
phone.
mobile, because that looks like you're disinterested. If you're not interested in your stuff, why is somebody else gonna be interested in your
Right.
stuff?
They're not going to be drawn to you if you don't look
If you're like this,
approachable. Absolutely.
nobody want to talk to you when you're like that, right?
Right.
We also want to talk about how you're presenting your table and your
Yes.
whole. So tablecloths, please. Tablecloths,
Tablecloth,
please. Tablecloths,
preferably a black
clean,
tablecloth.
clean. Light
Clean.
colors get dirty. Dark tablecloth. Make sure if you're
Yes.
out in the elements at a park, you
You
have
have
a
a tent.
nice table. You have a tent. We want to weight it down.
Weight it down so it don't blow away. Make sure your iron, if you have flyers and papers on
Oh,
your
please.
table, that you
Anything
have
light
paper weights,
that'll
something to
fly.
weight. So that stuff can, I mean, if you don't, your stuff go fly.
All the little things that people don't think about.
Yes.
Wi-Fi for
Wi-Fi.
your
Yes.
point
You
of
got to make
sale.
sure that you get the when you go to the venue, get the Wi-Fi password so
So
your
if you
phone
have
can,
Square
so
site or
your,
any of
yes,
those that
Square
you
and Cash
can.
App and all of that, so you can process your payments.
Yes, ma'am. And
Absolutely.
then electricity is another thing if you need it for whatever
Yes.
reason. If
So
it's
you want to make sure you know where the outlets
and
are.
right. So all these little different things, all these little
You have
nuggets.
to let the vendor coordinator know if you need electricity. Then you got to find out also before the event, do I need to bring my own table and
Chairs.
chairs?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am. What time am I setting up?
What
Because
time do I need to
make
set up?
make
Yes,
sure you are set up before those people start coming. How
absolutely.
raggedy does it look when
When you
you
coming
say,
in
let's
late.
just say you walking into a restaurant and they over there sweeping and cleaning and washing tables and washing dishes and cleaning up from last night. It doesn't look very inviting. You know what I'm saying?
No,
So you want to make sure that your stuff is set up and neat
and ready.
more than people walk in the door and you're prepared.
That you are prepared, because you got
Yes,
folks
ma'am.
that will videotape and come around in the different tables. So
Correct.
you
Correct.
want to be ready.
You want to be presentable, wear your either dress appropriately for the weather
Absolutely.
or wear a company top.
Yeah,
Many
company
people,
t-shirt.
how many people out there do we see on Facebook making t-shirts? You can sling somebody your logo or your company name for 25 bucks and let them do you up a
Let them do
t-shirt
your
right quick,
t-shirt.
right?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
always, all of these things we're talking about.
And
Pop-up
wear comfortable shoes.
shoes. Don't be
Yes.
out there trying to be cute and
With
them
heels.
heels and your dogs be barking every time
Right. You
you
are
take a step.
irritable because your feet hurt.
Girl, all of these things
Another
for
thing, you want to
real.
also pack you some water.
I was about to say,
Yes.
finger foods, don't be full plate meal. If you got to eat it with a fork and a spoon, don't do it at your table. That looks so tacky.
Yeah.
When you walk up to a vendor's table and they shoveling food in their mouth and they mid bite and you want to ask them about their services or their wares.
Yeah. Maybe
So
have an assistant with
snack
you.
but snack foods are best.
Yeah. I
Little
mean, I
finger
try to
stuff,
bring like, maybe some potato,
little
some,
finger stuff.
little
Even if
chips,
it's
an
yeah,
apple, I
fruit,
think we'll leave like
exactly.
an
But
orange or something real quick.
don't
Great.
bring you a meal.
Yeah.
Don't
I
bring
mean, if
you
I
a
do
sit
eat a
down meal.
meal, I'll get it like at the end when I'm leaving.
That's what I'm saying. You're
Or
here as a business. If you walked into it doesn't matter, the grocery store, Walmart, Target, think about walking up to the checkout or the customer service counter and that person is sitting there eating a full plate or they're doing whatever they on their phone or how do you feel as a customer, right? And
right.
as a small business, we got to be on our P's and Q's, especially in
Absolutely.
person.
Yes. And if you gotta step away, maybe have an assistant that'll watch your
Proxy
table.
that's going to stand in for you.
That yes, if you have to leave, if you gotta go to the restroom or maybe get something to
Yes,
eat for take a break
perfect.
or whatever. I mean, normally I'm a one woman show, but it's it's helpful to have
Yeah,
someone
definitely
with
for
you.
breaking up. For breaking, setting up and breaking down your table
Yes,
and
breaking down, putting stuff
toting that
away.
stuff
I
back to
mean,
your car.
yes, because if you have help, it takes less time.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
So all of these are little nuggets of information
And
that
try to stay, if you can, for the whole thing. Be
oh,
there from
nothing is
start to
tackier.
end.
Nothing is tackier than walking by at a fair or a festival and you got all these empty tables or empty booths
And
because
people
people
leaving, I've been, vendor events, and it's over at 6, but people are packing up and leaving at 5 o'clock.
That is
Like,
so tacky. And that
because
is,
you never know, you missing out on sales.
but not only that, that is just poor, that's poor
It's
business.
poor business,
Business
yes.
hours. It's like
I
me
mean, not
going to the
unless you
bank.
communicate that, with the coordinator that, hey, I got
Correct. But I'm
something
like,
to
but
do.
if you're packing up, how would you feel if you at the bank trying to do your transaction and the teller is over there packing her shit up to leave? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's
Right.
think it's the same thing. We are
We have,
businesses.
I get what you're saying. We have to be retail minded.
We are businesses, and we
Yes.
have to think about everything we do is being watched. Are you gonna
What
go
kind of
to a,
impression are you making?
that's what I'm saying. So from even the sorts of pop-up shops that you align yourself with.
Yes.
So if you at a
Absolutely.
pop-up shop where they doing, ass shaking, that might not be, and you selling Christian books, you know what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
might not be the place for you. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
you
saying?
gotta look,
So
you have to look at the theme,
it's
because a lot of
discernment,
events have a theme. Does your business
fit.
fit with the theme?
Thank you.
Because if I'm at, because like with my jewelry,
Right.
my jewelry I can really display most places anywhere.
Correct.
But like with my Mary Kay, I have to look, sometimes I do have to look at, okay, what kind of
Clientele.
clientele is going to
Right.
be coming. Because,
Right.
some people don't want to spend more than $10 for
That's what I'm trying
lipstick.
to, yes.
They don't, a lot of people just, I mean, in some areas, they just want gloss and lashes.
I'm saying, right. They
They
want
could
them
care less
jumpsuit. They
about
want them
skincare,
exactly.
So,
Correct.
you have to look at, you
The
know, the
whole
the whole
whole
picture,
picture. And look at the other on those flyers, and when you look at those
the
Facebook
other type of
look
businesses.
at
Yes.
those other vendors, those other businesses that are on that flyer.
Yes.
What are they selling? So basic, so example, you do Mary Kay and you do Paparazzi. Most affiliates have strict one affiliate per pop-up.
One, yes, absolutely.
So you can be the only Mary Kay or the only Paparazzi. You can't
And
have
this is
more than
what I've noticed. Like, some vendor coordinators don't care, and they just
want the money. But
want.
that's why I'm saying you
But
gotta
I have to tell
research.
them, for myself, my integrity, and for the to stay compliant.
Right.
If there's more than one, I have to ask. I
Yeah.
That's another thing. You want to ask, hey, is there another paparazzi jewelry person? Or is there a paparazzi jewelry person
See,
already signed up?
yes,
Is
yes.
there a
You have to
Mary Kay
be
person, or a Scentsy person? Because you don't want to be, I mean, it kind of puts you in an uncomfortable spot.
correct.
Like you're
Correct.
competing, and you don't want to feel like you're competing against
Correct. So
another.
also look at the other vendors, because what if you got 5 other people there that sell candles and you sell candles?
Right, absolutely.
You're
Yes.
putting yourself in a situation where you're probably not going to make your vendor fee back because you've got all that competition. So these are different things that you really need to think about.
And as a vendor coordinator,
Mm,
they want to look at, because this is what I've learned, they also want to look at where they're positioning people. Because
correct.
you can have more than one candle person,
But don't
more
have
than
them
one,
next to each
but you
other.
can't have them next to each
Separate.
other. You got to
Right.
maybe have them on one side, on a different
Correct.
side of the room,
Correct.
So
Correct.
they won't feel like some type
Their
of way that
competition, they won't feel some kind of in their emotions and all,
right.
all that, all sensitive and shit.
I mean,
Yeah.
I had a situation, and the people that put on the event, they were like first time vendor coordinator, so
Right, right,
learning, maybe second time, but
right.
yeah, I had.
And I can say, honestly, I've made that mistake with my tea party. It was wonderful. I loved it, but like half of my volunteers, my partner, everybody quit on me and didn't show up.
Oh
And
no.
and so there wasn't enough of me. And so I really just was like, vendors, pick a spot. You know what I mean? Y'all just pick us. They spread themselves out very, very well. There happened to be one soap lady that actually did sit next to a table that did soap and candles. And so I think they might have felt some kind of way, but they came later. And so
Okay.
that wasn't if they had come on time or earlier, they could have picked a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
So
that was my
that's
learning
important.
experience. That was me as the event coordinator learning.
And so
You know what
I've
I mean?
learned the earlier that you get there, you have a better chance of getting a better spot.
Correct.
Because
Correct.
you come later, you get whatever table is left.
You got to take what's available.
Whatever's available.
Right.
So,
right. All these little nuggets of information. Veronica, again, the pop-up queen. So y'all, Veronica, go ahead.
From experience.
Yes. Yeah. And it is. It's the experience of trial and error. I'm sure you've gotten burned. I've gotten burned, but when you get burned that one time, you're not gonna, it's like that hard head makes a soft ass. Like, you're not gonna forget that lesson. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna take heed to it.
Or if you make a mistake or whatever, sometimes you make mistakes, but it's a learning. You don't want to make the same, because I've shown up late and then I'm like, and then I'm all the way in the back because
I mean, you live and you learn, and for the first time people that are jumping on these events and these pop-up shops, take heed to what we're saying. Research the company, the event organizer, the person that's putting it on. Actually Google the event and see if you can find it.
I've noticed too, the earlier that you pay your fee, you can get a better spot at the event.
Because you're at the forefront of the list. You're at the front of the list.
You're at the front of the list.
Right.
Now, if you wait to the last minute to pay,
you might have missed out because now we got a paparazzi person.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so you didn't jump on.
Or you wait too late and they say, I'm sorry, we're full.
Right. Exactly right.
So you got it. A lot of times, if you in your area, there's a lot of people, because I've noticed a lot of people been jumping on it. So when you find out about it, you gotta
hustle.
Gotta jump.
It's almost like the real estate market. Like you go and you put your bid in for the house and the house is gone. You know what I mean? Like you gotta jump on it. Like really
gotta jump on it. Like, if you wait to the last minute, you might be in.
Veronica, it has been a pleasure chatting with you this episode, and I thank you so much for taking time out from your busy, busy schedule. Because girl, you be moving and shaking.
Yes, I appreciate you so much and appreciate the opportunity.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Of course, anytime.